I used to believe I had everything a man could want. A successful career as a civil engineer managing infrastructure projects that actually mattered. A beautiful home in an upscale neighborhood with the kind of modern kitchen that made our friends envious. A marriage that everyone called solid. 9 years with Vanessa, my ambitious, driven pharmaceutical sales director wife who out-earned me and made me proud rather than threatened. We had agreed early on, before the wedding, that children weren't our priority. We were career-focused, success-oriented. We'd revisit the kid question later when things settled down, but later kept getting pushed back, and honestly, neither of us seemed bothered. We had freedom, disposable income, the ability to work late without guilt or explanation. Our routine was comfortable, predictable. We'd leave early for our respective jobs, sometimes not seeing each other until 8 or 9 p.m. Weekends were for dinners at upscale restaurants, vacations at exclusive resorts. Even our love life maintained a reliable, if not passionate, rhythm, comfortable, familiar. We functioned like a well-oiled corporate partnership. Vanessa had always been ambitious. It's what initially attracted me, her refusal to settle, her determination to be the top performer at her company. So when she traveled for conferences, stayed late for client dinners, worked weekends during quarterly pushes, I never questioned it. I understood career ambition. I did the same. But about 6 months ago, something shifted. The late nights became more frequent. The weekend conference calls multiplied. The overnight business trips increased from monthly to weekly. I supported it all. I was a good husband, a modern man who didn't resent his wife's success. Then came that Tuesday. I arrived home early, surprised to find Vanessa's car already in the driveway at 6 p.m. I walked in calling her name and heard the shower running upstairs. When she emerged 20 minutes later, hair wet, wearing comfortable clothes, she kissed my cheek casually. My evening client meeting got canceled last minute, she explained with a casual smile. Nice surprise. We ordered takeout, watched a show, went to bed like nothing was unusual. But that night, lying beside her sleeping form, I stared at the ceiling and realized she never showers before dinner. Only after. In 9 years of marriage, that had been her unwavering routine. Why did she need to shower the moment she got home? I told myself I was being paranoid. But paranoia, I'd learn, is just pattern recognition before you have all the evidence. Once that first thread of suspicion unraveled, I couldn't stop noticing other loose ends I'd previously ignored. I found new lingerie while putting away laundry, expensive, delicate pieces I'd never seen her wear. When I casually mentioned them that night, she smiled. Just something for my own confidence, she said with a dismissive wave. Feeling good under my work clothes helps me close deals. It sounded reasonable. But I realized she hadn't worn anything special for me in months. Then there was the perfume. Vanessa had worn the same light floral scent for years, but lately on specific days, her meeting days, she wore something different. Heavier, more sensual. I recognized it from the Nordstrom perfume counter. Over $300 a bottle. She never wore it around the house, only on those particular days. Her phone behavior changed too. Always face down now. Password changed for the first time in our marriage. Company implemented new security protocols, she explained when I noticed, the words coming a bit too quickly. The explanation sounded rehearsed. The Friday night incident crystallized everything. Vanessa announced she needed to go into the office to prepare for Monday's presentation. She left at 7 p.m., said she'd be back by 10. I settled in to watch a game, then remembered I'd left my tablet in her car that morning. I went to the garage to retrieve it. Her car wasn't there. I checked the driveway, the street. Nowhere. She said she was going to the office 15 minutes away. I called her cell 4 rings before she answered, slightly breathless. "Hey, honey, what's up?" she asked, her voice overly casual. "Just wondering when you'll be home," I said carefully. "Should be another hour or so." "This presentation is more complex than I thought," she replied. There was background noise, not office sounds, music, voices. "Okay, just checking." "Love you," I responded evenly. "Love you too." She hung up quickly. Vanessa arrived home at 11:20 p.m. She'd changed clothes, no longer in the business casual outfit she left in, but jeans and a sweater. Her hair was slightly damp. The office AC was broken, she explained, avoiding direct eye contact. I was sweating, so I changed in the bathroom and freshened up before driving home. The next morning, while she showered, I checked the hamper. The business casual outfit was there. I lifted the blouse to my nose and immediately recoiled. Men's cologne. Expensive, woody, sophisticated. Definitely not something I wore. Not something that would be in our home or her office. That Sunday, I cleaned out her car and found a parking stub wedged under the passenger seat. Harbor Plaza Hotel parking garage, dated Friday night. Timestamp 7:47 p.m., exit stamp 10:52 p.m. She wasn't at the office. She was at a hotel for 3 hours. I sat in the driver's seat holding the stub, my hands finally starting to shake. I wasn't paranoid. I wasn't imagining things. Something was very, very wrong. I put the parking stub in my wallet and went inside. Vanessa was making breakfast, humming to herself, looking relaxed and happy. She smiled when I entered the kitchen. I smiled back and asked what she wanted to do today. I had a choice: confront her with a parking stub she could explain away, or find out exactly what I was dealing with. I chose the truth, no matter how much it would cost. I didn't sleep well for 3 days after finding the parking stub. I went through the motions at work, managed my project meetings, reviewed blueprints, but my mind was elsewhere. I needed to know the truth, but I also needed evidence, not for myself, but for what comes after. Because if Vanessa was cheating, I wasn't interested in therapy or second chances. I was interested in scorched earth. I called Derek, an attorney friend who handles divorces, ugly ones. I asked for a private investigator recommendation, someone discreet and thorough. Derek texted me a contact, Evan Reed, with a simple note. Expensive, but worth it. Gets everything documented legally. I called Evan from my car during lunch break. His voice was calm, professional, unsurprised by anything. I need to know if my wife is having an affair, I said directly. Most people who call me already know the answer, Evan replied with practiced neutrality. They just need proof. Then get me proof. I need photographs, video, timestamps, locations, everything that would hold up legally and professionally, I stated firmly. We met that evening at a coffee shop downtown. Evan was in his 50s, graying at the temples, dressed like a business consultant rather than a PI. He took detailed notes as I explained everything: the shower incident, the lingerie, the perfume changes, the phone secrecy, the parking stub, the cologne-scented clothes, the Friday night hotel visit. Evan asked for Vanessa's schedule, her typical routes, her business meeting patterns. I provided her work calendar. We shared a family digital calendar. Her usual haunts, the parking stub, photos of the cologne-scented clothing I'd secretly documented. Your wife is careful, Evan observed, studying my evidence. The separate parking, the clothing disposal patterns, the timing, she's thought this through. How long will this take? I asked. If she's maintaining the same pattern? 2 to 3 weeks for a clear picture. If she's as careful as you describe, maybe 4. I'll send you weekly updates, encrypted emails, photos attached, full documentation, he explained methodically. And legally? This will all be admissible? I questioned. I'm licensed, bonded, and insured. I follow all applicable laws. Everything I gather is legally obtained from public spaces, hotels, parking lots, restaurants. No illegal entry, no wiretapping, no hacking. Just observation and photography. It'll stand up in any court or HR investigation, he assured me. I wrote a check for the retainer, $5,000. Evan promised to start surveillance immediately, focusing on Vanessa's next business meeting days. One more thing, I said as we were leaving. I need you to identify who she's meeting. Name, employer, address if possible. And if he's married, Evan nodded. Understood. You're thinking about collateral notifications, he observed shrewdly. I'm thinking about making sure everyone who deserves to know the truth gets it simultaneously. When they can't run damage control, I confirmed. Smart, Evan said. Most clients wait until they're emotional. You're staying strategic. That's good. It means you'll come out of this better. I drove home. Vanessa was already there, working in her home office on a proposal. She asked how my day was. I said it was fine, kissed her forehead, and went to make dinner. I felt strangely calm now. The machine was in motion. For 3 weeks I went to work, came home, kissed my wife, and waited for Evan to send me proof of her betrayal. I was living with a stranger who thought she was safe. Evan's first report arrived via encrypted email on a Thursday evening while Vanessa was working late, genuinely at the office this time, or so she claimed. I opened it in my home office, door locked. Week 1 report, subject met with male companion at Riverside Hotel, Tuesday, 3 p.m. Male identified as Trevor Nash, age 35, pharmaceutical sales representative for Wellspring Pharma. Nash checked into room 412 at 2:45 p.m. using company credit card, confirmed via discreet inquiry with hotel staff, expensed as business accommodation. Subject arrived 15 minutes later, bypassed front desk entirely, went directly to elevator bank and 4th floor, emerged separately 3 hours later. Nash exited first at 6:10 p.m. Subject waited until 6:32 p.m. before leaving via side exit. Both vehicles observed. Nash parked in hotel lot, subject parked 3 blocks away in public lot, likely avoiding hotel records cameras. Photographs attached. 47 images documenting arrivals, exits, vehicle placements, timestamps. I scrolled through the photos. Vanessa entering the hotel side door, checking her phone, looking around nervously. Trevor Nash, younger than me, athletic build, expensive suit, leaving the hotel main entrance looking relaxed and satisfied. Vanessa emerging later, hair slightly disheveled, checking her appearance in her phone camera before walking to her distant car. That night, Vanessa came home at 8 p.m. and mentioned her client meeting ran long. I asked how it went. Really productive, she said with a bright smile. Building good relationships with potential accounts. I nodded and asked what she wanted for dinner. Week 2. Report. Pattern confirmed and expanded. Wednesday, Parkside Suites Hotel, different location, same operational procedure. Nash checked in at 1:50 p.m., room 807, company card. Subject arrived 2:15 p.m., used employee service entrance, completely avoiding lobby cameras. 4-hour interval before separate exits. Nash first at 6:25 p.m., subject at 6:48 p.m. Subject's vehicle again parked blocks away. Additional observation. Subject made stop at dry cleaner immediately after hotel departure, dropped off clothing worn that day. Nash's LinkedIn checked public post about productive business trip to the region, posted same day as hotel meeting. Photographs and timeline documentation attached, 63 images. I noted the evolution. They were refining their system, using different hotels, avoiding any repeated patterns that might alert hotel security or create recognizable routines. Vanessa was learning, adapting, getting better at deception. Week 3. Report. Major developments. Harbor Plaza Hotel, Executive Suite, 1847, Tuesday afternoon. Nash checked in 2 p.m. Subject arrived 2:30 p.m. I secured room 1824 directly across courtyard with clear sightline to target room, paid premium rate for strategic positioning. Curtains left partially open, possibly arrogance, possibly carelessness. Obtained photographs through window using telephoto lens showing intimate contact, embracing, kissing, undressing. Video footage captured extended intimate activity over 3-hour period. Faces clearly visible, actions unambiguous. Subject exited via service elevator at 5:47 p.m., clearly attempting to avoid main lobby traffic. All evidence documented with timestamps, GPS coordinates, metadata intact. Note: this is legally obtained from public positioning, my hotel room, photographing visible activity in inadequately curtained windows. Admissible. The photos were explicit without being pornographic. Vanessa and Trevor embracing by the window, kissing. Trevor's hands on her body, clothing being removed. Video stills showing them on the bed, bodies intertwined, her face clearly visible in an expression of pleasure I hadn't seen in years. I sat in my office staring at the images for 20 minutes. I didn't cry, didn't rage, just felt cold, hollow, and absolutely certain about what comes next. Evan's accompanying analysis was comprehensive. Parking records from public lots near all hotels. Dry cleaning receipts showing Vanessa's increased frequency, from bi-weekly to weekly. Trevor's LinkedIn posts correlating perfectly with business trip dates that match hotel visits. expense report patterns showing Trevor's increased travel expenses to our region. The final summary: affair confirmed, minimum 3 months duration based on pattern analysis, possibly longer. Operational security suggests established routine and significant premeditation. Both parties employing counter-surveillance techniques, separate arrivals, avoiding hotel lobby cameras, subject using distant parking to avoid license plate documentation. Immediate disposal of clothing via dry cleaning. Trevor Nash expensing hotels as legitimate business travel, fraud. Subject misrepresenting whereabouts during work hours, also potentially actionable. Recommend immediate legal consultation regarding divorce proceedings and potential professional ethics complaints. I forwarded everything to my attorney with a simple message. File for divorce immediately. Attach evidence to initial filing. Then I began planning the exposure. They thought they were careful. They thought the separate arrivals and distant parking made them invisible. They didn't realize I'd been watching them for 3 weeks, documenting everything, preparing to destroy both their lives in a single coordinated strike. I spent the weekend reviewing Evan's complete documentation while Vanessa was at a team-building seminar. I organized everything systematically, chronological folders for each hotel meeting, separate files for Trevor's expense fraud evidence, compilation folders for each recipient I planned to notify. I researched each target carefully. Vanessa's parents, Richard and Carol, traditional values. Daughter was their pride and joy, early retirement in a nearby suburb. Her sister Michelle, younger, married with 2 kids, always slightly competitive with Vanessa. Vanessa's boss, David Stevens, CEO of MedTech Solutions, known for zero-tolerance policies on ethics violations. Trevor Nash required deeper research. I found him on LinkedIn, married to Amanda Nash, 2 children, ages 5 and 7, lives in upscale suburban neighborhood, posts regularly about family-first values while traveling for work. The irony was nauseating. I located Amanda's contact information through public records and social media, remarkably easy in the digital age. I found Trevor's employer information, identified the HR department head and corporate compliance officer at Wellspring Pharma. I drafted 5 separate emails, each carefully calibrated for maximum impact. To Vanessa's parents: professional, respectful, devastating. Apologizing for being the bearer of terrible news, explaining the 3-month affair with colleague Trevor Nash, attaching photographic evidence, selected carefully, nothing gratuitous, but undeniably incriminating. Hotel entrances, kissing through windows, intimate embraces, recognizable clothing. Emphasis on thought you should know before divorce proceedings become public. To Vanessa's sister: similar approach, slightly less formal, more focus on betrayal of family values and the systematic deception involved. To Vanessa's CEO: businesslike and devastating. Framing the issue as professional ethics violation, conducting affair during claimed work hours, misrepresenting work activities, using client meetings as pretexts for personal liaisons. Attached evidence showing pattern of deception. Emphasis on Trevor's expense fraud as context for the corporate impropriety angle. To Trevor's wife, Amanda: the most carefully worded, acknowledging they're strangers united by betrayal, presenting evidence chronologically, offering complete documentation for her own legal proceedings. Tone is sympathetic but direct. You deserve to know. I'm filing for divorce and wanted you to have the same information for your own decisions. To Trevor's employer: pure business, documenting expense fraud. Employee Trevor Nash booking hotel rooms on company expense accounts under pretense of business travel, actually using rooms for extramarital affair. 3 months documented, over $8,000 in fraudulent expenses. Evidence attached from licensed investigator. No emotional language, just facts and dollar amounts. I set each email to send automatically at 6 p.m. on Monday, exactly when Vanessa typically texts that her meeting is running long. I coordinated with my attorney to have divorce papers filed Tuesday morning, ready to be served by end of business that day. I arranged for locks to be changed on the house Tuesday morning while I was at work. A locksmith who could do it in 2 hours. No questions asked. I transferred funds from our joint account to my individual account, exactly half. No more, my attorney advised scrupulous fairness to avoid any accusations of financial misconduct. I documented the transfer meticulously. I packed Vanessa's essential items, clothes, toiletries, important documents, into luggage and placed it in the garage, ready for when she inevitably appeared demanding access to her things. On Monday morning, Evan sent a text, FYI, Nash just reserved Harbor Plaza Executive Suite 1203 for tonight using company card. Subject's calendar shows client meeting TBD location for this afternoon. They're following pattern. Perfect. I texted back, thanks. Final payment will be sent today. We're done after this. Monday afternoon proceeded normally. I attended meetings, reviewed structural calculations, approved subcontractor work. Colleagues noticed nothing unusual. I was completely calm. At 3:17 p.m., Evan texted, Subject just entered Harbor Plaza via side entrance. Nash checked into 1203 at 2:58 p.m. Visual confirmation she went directly to that floor. Room service ordered. Champagne and appetizers. Settling in for the evening, I didn't respond. I opened my laptop and reviewed my drafted emails one final time. 5 messages, carefully constructed, scheduled to detonate simultaneously. 5 bombs placed with accuracy. At 5:47 p.m., my phone buzzed. Text from Vanessa. Sorry, honey, the business meeting is running long. Might be here until 9 or 10. Don't wait up! I stared at the heart emoji. She's probably naked with Trevor right now or minutes away from it, laughing about how her husband is so trusting, so oblivious, so easy to deceive. PM arrived. My computer chimed softly. Scheduled emails sent. I counted to 60. Then I replied to Vanessa's text. Don't worry. The PI has you and Trevor on photo and video for 3 months straight. Every hotel, every meeting, everything. I've sent all evidence to your parents, your sister, your boss, Trevor's wife, and his employer. Divorce papers filing tomorrow. Locks changed. Don't bother coming home. Enjoy your business meeting. Send. Then I blocked her number. I imagined her phone lighting up, message after message. Call after call, her entire world disintegrating while she was naked in a hotel room paid for by someone else's company. I poured myself a scotch and waited. I didn't check my phone for the first hour. I made dinner, pan-seared salmon, roasted vegetables, a decent Chardonnay, and watched a documentary about Roman engineering. I was surprisingly calm, almost detached. The decision had been made, the consequences unleashed, and there was no taking it back now. At 7:23 p.m., an unknown number called. I ignored it. Then another. And another. I turned my phone to silent and finished my documentary. At 8:45 p.m., Evan sent a final text. Multiple calls being made from target room. Observed subject attempt to leave hotel at 6:47 p.m. but returned to room 3 minutes later. Nash's vehicle still in lot as of 8:30 p.m. Both subjects appear to be in crisis mode. They're trapped in there, dealing with the fallout. Want me to maintain surveillance? No, we're done. Send final invoice. Thank you for excellent work, I replied, feeling a cold satisfaction. I slept remarkably well that night. Tuesday morning brought the flood. I unblocked my phone at 6 a.m. and found 47 missed calls, 29 voicemails, 68 text messages. I ignored all of Vanessa's attempts to contact me and focused on the others. Vanessa's father, Richard, left a voicemail at 6:14 p.m. Monday, 14 minutes after the email sent. Graham, Carol and I just saw your email. We don't know what to say. We're horrified. Absolutely horrified. Our daughter. Jesus Christ. We're so sorry. We'll call you tomorrow when we've processed this. Thank you for telling us. You deserved so much better than this. His voice cracked with emotion. Vanessa's sister Michelle's voicemail was colder. I always knew Vanessa was competitive and ambitious, but I never thought she was a cheater and a liar. She's not welcome in our home. Don't blame you for anything you do. She made her choices, she stated. The most important call came at 8:30 a.m. Tuesday. David Stevens, Vanessa's CEO. Graham, this is David Stevens from MedTech Solutions. Thank you for bringing this situation to our attention. I want you to know we take professional ethics extremely seriously. Vanessa has been placed on immediate administrative leave pending formal investigation. Misrepresenting work activities for personal reasons violates multiple company policies and is grounds for termination. I also want to assure you that any client meetings she claimed to attend during the timeframes you documented will be thoroughly verified. I'm deeply sorry you were put in this position, he stated in his authoritative corporate voice. At 9:47 a.m., an unexpected call from Amanda Nash, Trevor's wife. Her voice was raw from crying but icily controlled. "Mr. Carter, this is Amanda Nash. I just want to thank you for sending me that evidence. I've been suspicious for months but couldn't prove anything. Trevor kept telling me I was paranoid, that I was being crazy. Now I know I wasn't crazy, I was right. I've already contacted an attorney. I'm filing for divorce, full custody, and I'm going after everything. He won't see his kids without supervision after what he's done. And thank you for sending everything to Wellspring Pharma. They called Trevor this morning and terminated him for expense fraud. He's being escorted out of the building right now. He deserves to lose everything, and he will," she said with determined resolve. We talked for 20 minutes, two betrayed spouses comparing timelines, sharing evidence, discovering that Trevor had been conducting this affair during family time, business trips when he claimed to be working late, while Amanda managed 2 young children alone. The conversation was cathartic for both of us. Mutual validation that our instincts were correct. Our spouses were calculating liars, and exposure was the right choice. At 2:30 p.m. Tuesday, I was in a project meeting when my secretary interrupted. "I'm so sorry, but there's a woman named Vanessa in the lobby demanding to see you. Security is with her. She's very upset," she explained apologetically. "Tell security she's not authorized to be here and needs to leave immediately. If she refuses, they should call the police for trespassing," I instructed firmly. 10 minutes later, my secretary returned. "She left. But she said to tell you she's going to the house," she reported uneasily. I left work early and arrived home at 4:15 p.m. Vanessa's car was in the driveway. She was sitting on the front steps looking destroyed, makeup smeared, eyes swollen from crying, hair unwashed, wearing the same clothes from yesterday. She saw me and stood immediately. "Graham, please," she began desperately. "You need to leave," I interrupted, staying near my car, maintaining distance. "We need to talk. This is all a misunderstanding," she pleaded, taking a step toward me. "There's no misunderstanding. You've been meeting Trevor at hotels for months during business meetings. He booked rooms on his company card. You arrived separately to avoid paper trails. I have photographs of you together through hotel windows, video of you entering his rooms, parking records showing your car blocks away, timeline analysis covering 3 months, every dry cleaning receipt, every lie you told me about working late. There's nothing to misunderstand," I stated. "The PI violated my privacy. That's illegal," she protested frantically. "Wrong. Evan photographed you in public spaces and through inadequately curtained hotel windows. Completely legal. Want to know what's illegal? Trevor committing expense fraud. His company is considering criminal charges," I countered flatly. "My parents won't talk to me," Vanessa's voice cracked. "My boss put me on administrative leave. Michelle said I'm dead to her. Trevor's wife is taking everything from him. His house, his kids, everything. You've destroyed both our lives," she wailed. I felt nothing but cold satisfaction. "No, you destroyed your own lives. I just documented it and made sure everyone who had a right to know, your family, your employer, his wife, his employer, knew the truth. You were methodical about covering your tracks, so I was methodical about exposing you," I replied evenly. "Where am I supposed to go?" she demanded, tears streaming down her face. "Your luggage is in the garage. Take it and leave. Call Trevor? Oh, wait, his wife kicked him out and his company fired him for fraud. Maybe you can finally be together now that you're both unemployed and homeless," I stated coldly, walking toward the front door. Vanessa grabbed my arm. "Graham, please! 9 years of marriage. That has to mean something," she begged. I looked at her hand on my arm until she released it. "It did mean something. Until you spent 3 months f***ing a colleague in hotel rooms he expensed to his employer while texting me that you were in business meetings. You didn't just betray me. You calculated how to betray me efficiently, how to hide it systematically, how to lie to my face while scrubbing his cologne off your skin. That took planning, effort, and contempt. So no, our 9 years don't mean anything anymore. You made sure of that." I stated with quiet intensity. I made a mistake. She tried again, her voice breaking. Mistake is forgetting to pay a bill. You made hundreds of choices. Every lie, every hotel visit, every time you came home and kissed me while smelling like another man. Those weren't mistakes. They were decisions. I cut her off. I entered my house and closed the door. She pounded on it for 15 minutes before finally leaving. Through the window, I watched her collect her luggage from the garage, load it into her car, and drive away. My phone rang. It was my attorney. Divorce papers filed this morning. She'll be formally served by end of business today. Given the evidence, I don't expect her attorney will recommend fighting it, he reported efficiently. Good, I said. Let me know what else you need. I hung up and realized I was hungry. I ordered Thai food and opened a good bottle of wine. For the first time in 6 months, I ate dinner without wondering where my wife really was. 2 months after the exposure, the divorce was finalized. Vanessa's attorney advised her not to contest anything. The evidence was overwhelming. Fighting would only increase her legal costs and prolong her public humiliation. MedTech Solutions formally terminated Vanessa for misrepresenting work activities and conducting personal business during work hours, violating professional ethics standards. The termination went on her employment record. In pharmaceutical sales, a surprisingly insular industry, word spread quickly. No reputable company wanted to hire the sales director who got caught using client meetings as a fair cover stories. Trevor's situation was equally demolished. Wellspring Pharma terminated him for expense fraud, $8,400 in hotel rooms expensed as business travel, actually used for personal liaisons. They didn't press criminal charges, but the termination for fraud destroyed his sales career. Amanda's divorce settlement was brutal. Full custody, child support, alimony, the house. Trevor moved to a studio apartment and took a warehouse logistics job, the only employer willing to overlook the fraud on his record. Vanessa moved 2 hours away to a smaller city, taking a junior sales position at a regional medical supply company that didn't know her history. She was 38, starting over at entry level. Her 6-figure income gone, her career trajectory destroyed, her family estranged. Her parents maintained minimal contact. Her sister wouldn't speak to her at all. Her social circle evaporated when the scandal became known. My recovery was different. The initial shock faded into acceptance, then into something like relief. I sold the house, too many poisoned memories, and bought a modern downtown loft with floor-to-ceiling windows and clean lines. I threw myself into work and got promoted to senior project manager within 4 months. At a work function celebrating a completed project, I met Dr. Sarah, a structural engineer consulting on one of my infrastructure developments. She was brilliant, direct, funny, and refreshingly honest about everything. We started dating slowly, carefully. I was upfront about my recent divorce, though I didn't provide details until we'd been together 3 months. She cheated, I said simply over dinner, for months. I hired a PI, documented everything, and ended it decisively. Good, Sarah said firmly, her eyes meeting mine. Life's too short for liars. That response, her immediate dismissal of deceit, her clear values about honesty, told me everything I needed to know. I'd found someone who values the same things I do: integrity, loyalty, genuine effort rather than perfection. 1 year after the exposure, Sarah and I became serious, meeting each other's families, discussing moving in together, building something real. When Vanessa sent a long, apologetic email asking if we could at least talk, Sarah read it and offered her advice: delete it. She made her choices. You don't owe her closure, she said with quiet certainty. I deleted it without responding. I learned that decisive action, while painful, prevents prolonged suffering. That exposure, showing people exactly who someone is through their own documented actions, is more powerful than any confrontation or argument. That when someone is methodical about covering their tracks, they know exactly what they're doing. There's no confusion, no mistake, just calculated deception. Most importantly, I learned that the best revenge isn't elaborate or prolonged. It's simply telling the truth to everyone who matters: family, employers, the betrayed spouse of the affair partner, all at once. at the exact moment when they think they're safe and untouchable. Vanessa destroyed her own life. I just made sure the documentation was thorough and the audience was complete. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below. Your support helps the algorithm push my content further. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me keep creating more stories for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.